What's going on, Packers fans? Bass here. So that game, that game gave me a little bit of a mini heart attack there in the midway through the fourth quarter. You know, I thought Eagles were going to come back and tie the game up. Luckily, they didn't, and the Packers, you know, did what they needed to do to win that game. Moved to 9-3. Final score was 30-16 Green Bay. So I'm going to start off by calling out the Eagles fans because I live about an hour away out of Philly. So, you know, these Eagles fans are so crazy. They talk so much shit, and they're really fair weather fans because they like to jump ship the moment their team's not doing well and talk shit so hard on their own players, which, you know, isn't the right thing to do. But, you know, I have a lot of Eagles fans around here. A couple of my own family members are actually Eagles fans, and, you know, it just feels so much better when the Packers beat up on the Eagles like they did tonight. I know it got close, like I said, there in the fourth quarter, but it just feels so good. I love seeing them beat the Eagles, and, you know, I have respect for a lot of players on that team, and Doug Peterson, of course, but, you know, beating the Eagles is always fun. So let's start it out with the offense. So Aaron Rodgers actually started the first half 14 for 15, pretty much near perfect. The only incompletion was a quick slant to Davante in the end zone, which Darius Slay pretty much held him, which is the only way he could stop Davante tonight, which he didn't do any of. Which was Aaron Rodgers' best completions percentage in the first half of his career, which is pretty cool. Aaron Rodgers also hit the 400th touchdown milestone in this game, which is pretty cool. He threw it to Davante because Davante caught his 200th touchdown pass, and it was actually Davante's first career touchdown. So, you know, came full circle there. And man, Davante is just so good. I mean, is there any argument that he's a top 3 receiver right now? Or any argument against that? I feel like that's 100% a fact at this rate. You know, you could even argue top 2. So, you know, his route running, his prowess, and everything, and everything about his game is just so great. And he's continuing to just put up these numbers, and it's ridiculous. And, you know, I'm very happy to have him as a Packer. So to finish the game, Aaron Rodgers went 25 for 34 and 3 touchdowns. And Davante Adams went 10 for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones also had a wonderful game. He had a 77-yard run to pretty much seal the deal and finished with 15 carries for 130 yards in that touchdown. My favorite thing on that touchdown, I think, was actually more impressive than the run itself, is seeing David Bakhtiari run neck for neck with Aaron Jones down the field all the way to the goal line. And I saw an advanced stat saying he reached 16.75 miles per hour. And that's, you know, that's an offensive lineman. He's a big dude. David Bakhtiari is very athletic, but that's a big dude. You know, you have these fast track wide receivers, and they'll run, you know, 22 miles an hour. So to think David Bakhtiari got up to 16.7, that's pretty wild to think about. And just overall, just great run. You know, Aaron Jones always makes people miss. And then you have, like I said, David Bakhtiari and MVS down there throwing little blocks on a cutback and stuff, and just really sealed the deal there. And Aaron Jones pretty much said, "Hold my beer," and threw in the dagger there. The other 2 receivers below Davante was Allen Lazard with 50 yards, had a few nice catches, and of course Robert Tonyan with 39 and a touchdown, who he just always gets open. I feel like all of his touchdowns look the same. He just like breaks open on like a flag route or something, and he's just wide open, and Aaron just lofts it over and hits him after, you know, buying up a lot of time in the pocket. So, you know, I'm really liking Robert Tonyan. It seems Aaron has a really good connection with him, which is so pivotal for a tight end position with Aaron. And I'm hoping this is like our tight end of the future. You know, he's been building up his game for 3 years, and finally good to see him put it all together. So obviously we want to give credit to the offensive line like I always do, especially with Corey Linsley being out on IR. Everyone thought John Runyon was going to get his first start against his dad's former team. That wasn't the case. Lucas Patrick flipped to left guard, and then Billy Turner moved into right guard, and Rick Wagner came in at right tackle, and then of course Elton Jenkins played at center. I thought Runyon was going to play. I kind of wish he did, but Lucas Patrick played a decent game. Other than the second play of the game, he just got absolutely imploded, and, you know, horrible attempt there. But after that, he played a decent game. I still thought it might have been cool to get Runyon, you know, some snaps there, but hey, if it worked, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So lastly, on offense, MVS, another shaky day, you know, and this is like a broken record at this point. He has a great game, has a bad game. He has another bad game, then a great game. It's just so inconsistent, and it was another drop on a deep ball, which, you know, every professional wide receiver should have caught. Beautiful pass by Aaron. And then I think the only other touch he really had was on a reverse that got completely blown up, which isn't his fault. You know, the defensive end's an unblocked guy on that quick reverse, and he just played it well. But, you know, I just want to see more out of MVS. So moving on to defense, the pass rush was phenomenal, and I expected it to be. The Eagles' offense is their offensive line is terrible, and they put Wentz on the ground, I think 5-6 times, and then also put Hurts on the ground a couple times. So I think a total of like 6 or 7 sacks. Kiki had 2, Rashawn Gary 1.5, Z 1.5, Preston had a half sack, and then Dean Lowry is 1. I'm starting to believe, and I think this is definitely a fact at this point, that Kingsley Keke is the second best defensive lineman on this squad, right behind Kenny Clark. I just don't see Dean Lowry or Tyler Lancaster, as a better player than him at this point in the season. I think Keke should get all those snaps and run with him, because he's a playmaker. He's always around the ball. He's aggressive. He has a lot of motion in him too. So you see him after he gets a hit or gets a sack. He's all riled up, and I love seeing it. Kingsley Keke is a guy I thought was going to, pop off this year, and he's starting to do that. So Carson Wentz got benched after throwing 5 for 12 and a touchdown. They're doing him dirty. I'm not advocating saying, don't give Jalen Hurts a try, but, Wentz is their guy. He's always has been. Personally, being around Philly fans, I always said they should have kept Nick Foles. But that's a topic for another day. They set this up, and here they are, dealing with it. Carson Wentz is under a huge contract. I don't even think they could trade him this year, end of this year. I think the cap hit would be too big. Jalen Hurts looked good. He looked decent. One of the first passes was a 34-yarder or something like that to Rager, their first-round draft choice. Good throw. It seemed like he just wanted to run a lot, which a lot of young mobile quarterbacks will do when they first start playing, is they just look at their first or second read and then just tuck it and run, which it seemed like he did a lot. Really athletic guy, obviously threw the interception to end the game to Savage. And Darnell Savage, just wonderful, wonderful stretch of four games now. He's 3 interceptions the last 2 weeks. The pressure was made by Preston Smith, who's, also putting on a good couple games here. Love Darnell Savage. I think he's starting to become, and putting it all together and become a premier player, which I really, really want, considering, I'm from around right where he grew up, and I have friends who know him, which is pretty cool. So the Eagles did end up scoring on a 4th and 18, which was a touchdown pass by Jalen Hurts, I think, to Greg Ward. Pretty much a breakdown of a play there. He rolled out right and threw against Jair and Savage, and he just got beat. It was a good throw, it was a good route, and, got beat. But, that shouldn't have happened. You're Jalen Hurts, a rookie quarterback, against your top corner, and you're starting free safety. That shouldn't be that easy on 4th and 18. There should have been a little more coverage there, or a little more pass rush or something. But then, of course, there's special teams, which it's so bad this year. I think special teams is one of the worst aspects of this Packers football team. I don't feel like they do anything great. I think when Tyler Ervin's in there, he hides a lot of the faults, and he got hurt early. Would have been nice to have someone active that could play special teams. Tavon Austin, who is inactive for some reason, whatever. Not saying Tavon's some godsend player, but I think it would have been nice to have him as a backup there. But this special team, Sean Menega is probably going to have to get the can after this year. Year and year, for the past like 10 years, the Packers cannot have like a good special teams unit. I feel like the coaches are always just like, I don't know, do they even practice? Do they even coach? I don't know. But even J.K. Scott has some very weird inconsistencies, probably the worst tackler in the NFL. All he's got to do is get in front of him, because, you saw Jalen Reagor ran that punt return touchdown, and I think everyone's heart sank at that point, and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, are the Eagles really going to come back in this game when they were just getting trashed for 4.5 or 3.5 quarters? But, like I said, luckily, Packers turned it around, got a stop on defense, and then scored with Aaron Jones, which all but sealed it. So like I said, that moves the Packers to 9-3, moving to the number 2 seed in the conference. The Saints clinched the playoffs today. They are the number 1 seed. They are a game ahead, but also the Packers own the tiebreaker over the Saints. So if they finish with the same record, if the Saints drop a game and the Packers gain one, the Packers will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They got Detroit next week. Looking forward to that game. It's always a good game against Detroit, good divisional battle there, but we just got to keep on moving, man. This team, is really rolling, like really good offense. Defense is starting to put together some pass rush and turnovers. I'm really like where this team's heading into December and into January. So on that note, I'll catch everyone in the next one. Go Pack, go.